I have to express a few sentiments about Peanut. Yes, even I am talking about Peanut the squirrel here in New York City. Let me explain why I want to talk to you about Peanut. Everybody today seems to be talking about Peanut. First, let me throw out a great big thanks to all of you who have contributed to our community giveaway, which we did today in Queens, New York. It was a wonderful success. It was a beautiful, crisp fall, rather cold day. And we went over to the church and we met with neighborhood people and we met with worshipers and anybody who came by. And we had a tremendous mix of the Asian community, Black community, Hispanic community. It really was a terrific day. It really gives me renewed energy to do better being a warrior. That being said, our hashtag Community Creates Change does indeed work, because today was uplifting, good people, kind-hearted people, all coming together, all helping each other. We had food items, we had blankets, we had toys, we had socks, hats, gloves, toiletries, things people need. And today may not be spending that extra couple of bucks on a nice throw blanket with everything going on in the economy. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for helping us achieve a wonderful day and for making a lot of kids smile, because a lot of kids sheepishly would go near the toys and the mother would say something like, or the grandmother, how much? And I would say, no, free, from the warriors for you. And you, wonderful warriors out there, provided all of these wonderful goods. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You can see I still have my warriors gear on. But let me get back to Peanut. I have been disturbed all day. Disturbed like you can't believe. I am sitting in the middle of New York City, right? I am a constituent of Jerry Nadler, Chuck Schumer, Kirsten Gillibrand, Governor Kathy Hochul. We have escalating sex trafficking, predation on children who can't read and write, well-documented youth mental health crisis, right? We have illegals, and I will call them that because I work with immigration attorneys who bring people here legally and work 7, 8, 9 years to assimilate to our way of life. And now we have an invasion breaking into our country. That cannot be. It is not fair to those really just trying to come here and to those children dumped in the back of classrooms. And I'm referring to New York right now, our great sanctuary city, dumping children in classrooms where you don't have translators, where they don't know what's really going on. And our American kids witnessing all of this and don't really understand all the chaos. So shame, 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 shame. And I love my New York City. It is the greatest city in the world. Why should I leave? Everybody else should leave. But when I heard the story of Peanut, that they spent, 5 hours, and they stormed this couple's home for a pet squirrel and a pet raccoon, and they live on something like 350 acres in upstate New York. It's farm country, dairy country. 350 acres, that's a lot of land. And they took in this little squirrel at some point that was orphaned. As a kid in New Jersey, I used to go in our backyard and throw the stale bread to squirrels in our backyard. I'd sit on the back stoop and the squirrels would come right up. I never touched them. They never came near me. But they come right up to the bottom of the steps, look at me with those little faces, and almost, I remember thinking as a kid, oh, you could almost make them a pet. Or they'd see me going out into the backyard, and I guess because I was giving them the stale bread that my mother gave me, sometimes when I didn't have the stale bread, they'd come running up to me. So I could kind of see they become pets. But if you saw any of those videos of this little squirrel doing all his little things and eating, what was it, a waffle I saw him eating, and the guy, petting him on the head, and I saw the guy walk in the door, and the squirrel jumped on him, almost like a loving and a hello. But the point of what I'm telling you is, even I'm talking about Peanut, and we can't forget about Fred the raccoon, because these stormtroopers spent all this time, all these resources, took these two animals away. And I'm not going to go into all the, did they have, certification to have wildlife in their house? Now it's coming out. A story just broke in the New York Porn. This couple, they do a lot of porn videos on OnlyFans or something like that. I'm separating the whole issue. I'm saying the resources, the time spent taking away when it could have been spent on rescuing children. It could have been spent on educating the resources, children in the schools, about predation on phones, on laptops, on gaming consoles. Wherever the kids are, so are the predators. And they chose to do this, spend time, think it up, do reports, and then, and because of algorithms here on YouTube, I will say, I'm going to call them pets because that's what this couple considered them. They did away with them. I'm not understanding the whole story. All of that time, because of a squirrel and a raccoon that they were rehabilitating, and a squirrel that apparently got lost from its family, and some story like that they've had for 7 years. Little Peanut. Imagine if a child, and I'm sure children have, if I'm disturbed, imagine what kids think. But I'm so disturbed that all of that effort, all of that attention, all of those resources, all of that man, woman power, and all of the media are just talking about Peanut nonstop. Can you imagine if we could switch that, if we had that interest? We wanted those resources. We wanted to storm every illicit brothel. I was in Queens, New York today. It is the home of the most number of immigrants from other countries. At last count, it was something like 100. We represent 156 different countries in Queens. We're hearing about the illicit spas, that nobody's doing anything about those, the manicures, and it's just a trafficking operation all through Queens for the most part. If all of this effort and media attention was put on children and families and screaming from the top of everybody's lungs about we will not accept this anymore, can you imagine? Because our hashtag at The Warriors is community creates change. The last straw, hearing this story of Peanut. And we can't forget about Fred, the raccoon, and all of the effort put on destroying those two animals, those two little helpless animals. I wish all of that effort, first of all, very wrong what was done to those animals. I think we can all agree to that. Something better could have been done than just getting rid of them. But can you imagine if we had all of that effort and constant attention on all of our children? I'm worried. You should be worried too. 2 days until the election. Vote, vote, vote. I'll never tell you who to vote for. I will tell you. Look at the policies. Vote who is best for our border, our children, our families, and we'll keep them safe. LynnsWarriors.org is the place to be. Follow us every day for lots of studies, information, things you need to know. Keep the kids in mind. I gotta say it. Keep Peanut in mind and Fred, the raccoon. Everything's upside down, but we're going to turn it right side up very soon. Community creates change. Don't forget that. Remember, each and every day, go out and be a warrior.